inputs. And now we are moving now to discussion of the rules proposals. I just update you. You say very good words, everybody, and we speak about performance, credibility, safety players, FINA rules modernization, faster violence, simplicity. All these very right words. It's exactly what we need. And Mr. Lolo, floor is yours.
Let's begin. We must speak about the rules. We must speak each one and to know your opinion. And that begins for the first. I give the floor to Mark Avonov. He read the amendment number 1.
I will be short, and I don't read all the rule. I just would read proposed rule. Proposal number 1: with timekeeper recording the possession time shall reset the clock to 20 seconds when the ball is put into play after awarding a corner throw, rebound, and exclusion.
Mark, explain briefly these rules concerning this 20 seconds.
Basically saying about explaining the rule, it's a proposal to reset only to 20 seconds after situations of the corner, rebound, and exclusion, for a reason that not to make a game more dynamic and not to lose 10 seconds that usually are lost in this kind of attacks.
Yes, I just reminded about objectives of this rule. His objective is to improve the style and speed of the game. Mark, switch off microphone. Improve the style and speed of the game and decrease wasted boring time of the game. And the discussion is open. I ask coaches about remarks.
Maybe you can ask who has some objections. If everybody's agree, we will sign everybody's agree. So to be more simple, yeah?
It's okay, but that's we start. The coaches start from coaches.
Rebound or corner? A corner and rebound. Exclusion is dangerous. What happens if you have an exclusion after 2-3 seconds of ball possession? Then altogether you will have less time to attack. Then
We discuss the situation, and if possession time is more than 20 seconds, it should remain the same.
you need very expert table people.
Okay, the experts, please.
I think this is a good rule because we have already used 12 to 15 seconds in transition. We don't need that anymore. And you don't need, if you have exclusion, you don't need 30 seconds. If you don't make the goal or if you don't take the shot, you still have 10 seconds if you have 30. But now with 20, it's the perfect time.
Thank you, Dante.
I am agree with these rules. So what's happened quite always, it's when you have the new attack. So the first 10, 15 seconds, it's only passing the ball, not doing anything. Is the one of the most boring situation in the game. So you will avoid this situation because you will have 20 seconds. In 20 seconds, you have to organize the attack. And I think it's the very good proposal, and I will vote for yes. Yeah.
Athletes, you have any comments?
From our point of view, we totally agree with you, Radko. We can generally that's a recovery period of the game, which could help us move a little bit more afterwards, but it'll help speed up the game and get a quicker result, which is more exciting for the fans.
Okay, continents. Remark?
No, there is no remarks. I thought they were voting, so.
Support, not support.
No, we're
just
supporting. Yeah,
show your color.
No, we're supporting. It's for the benefit of the game. Yeah, sure.
Very good. Any more from continent? Referees? Okay, pass. Please.
Proposal number 2.
Proposal number 2 is a free throw shall be taken at the place where the ball is, except when the ball moves inside the 2-meter area. And objectives for this proposal is improve the style, speed of the game, decrease wasted boring time in the game.
Discussion open. The experts?
Yeah, I need one explanation. So I'm agree with this, but what is with the next? You know, when after the free throw, so can these players swim out of the 6 meter and then shoot or not?
No, we cannot. If a ball was inside 5 meter, he cannot swim outside and shoot.
Okay, agree.
Coaches? Microphone.
He's always trying to sabotage me.
It's shown we are not familiar with this. This is right. Our work is different.
I can speak to this because this rule is something that we've implemented within our federation, in our country, in our university system, and I think it's wonderful. I think it speeds up the game. People are always confused, especially on a contra foul, and a contra foul happens back further away from the attacking goal. Is why are they throwing the ball backwards? We just continue moving forward. This will speed up things.
Very good. Experts? Continents? Okay, athletes, please.
We definitely agree with this. It can make our game faster and more interesting and more simple for the spectators, so we agree.
Mr. Lolo, the floor is yours. Next.
Let's go because we agree. Proposal number 3.
A player taking corner throw and out of play free throw may shoot directly, swim, and shoot without passing or pass to another player. The objectives are increasing the speed of performing the corner throw to create an immediate scoring opportunity.
Some
Expert,
comments there
please.
is? Okay?
Okay.
I mean,
Did someone make an experience, some test?
All, as I understood, go to test from here, if it's passed.
Okay, just we started in December, and now it's end of April. So this is a very interesting and very heavy change. So it's important to test much more than the previous ones.
and we must, all the rules,
Haven't
all the
ever seen-
proposal of the rules must be tested, all.
In Sombatre,
Including
in-
the
in-
test that we agree, it is necessary to test, including these rules that it seems that there are general consensus, it is necessary to test.
Okay, do we decide when we test it? Now?
We have special presentation tomorrow, Mr. Kameny, specifically for testing procedures and how it's going to be tested. Tomorrow we have a special presentation.
But it must be very clear that including the rules, the proposal of the rules that agree, it is necessary to test because I have some doubts, so it's normal, no? So we must test all, absolutely all.
Excuse me.
The continents, please.
Yeah. I just have one question. Long test, what's the span for the long test, you mean? How long does it take just to be
This is
in the picture?
just remark for, you decide what you need to do with this.
I mean-
That's just the point, maybe. In your remarks,
We have-
if it will If you will say something about this in your remarks, we will put it there. That's it.
No, I mean, this should be done by coaches and referees moreover, because they know the span that it's tested. Will it be successful or no? We have to have a time span, I think, for this.
I would like to repeat again, tomorrow we have a testing presentation where I will be explaining detailing what's going to be procedure of a testing.
Athletes, continents.
Yeah,
Okay,
we're fine.
Willow, please.
I think we agree as an athlete, and I think it will be a good one because usually after corner we have nothing happens. The player goes back, and then nothing happens. It's a lost attack.
Okay, somebody else?
Okay. I also think this is a good, really good rule because, as Atlet said, after the corner throw and after the auto play free throw, defender goes back, and then we're getting in a really crowded situation, which stops, the speed of the game and the movements and everything else for at least 10 seconds. So I completely agree that this should pass.
Thank you. Mr. Lolo?
Proposal number 4.
Proposal number 4 is delay exclusion or penalty foul testing to occur in 2 stages. Stage 1 to apply to center, forward, and outside shots. Stage 2 to apply to whole field. And objectives are to improve game flow, decrease violence and brutality with and without the ball, address punishment for brutality without stopping the scoring action, allows the goal scored to be accepted at the moment when the penalty was committed. I have to explain a little bit in details. This is we're referring to, first one refers to a situation when center, for example, has no ball and player from perimeter is about to shoot, and referee have to wait and see when he finishes action. It will allow the referee to delay the foul, to finish action for a shooter, and then to call foul. Or in situation with outside 5-meter shots, direct shots, when defender interferes with 5-meter shot, it would lead to referee to finish to shooter the action, and if it's not goal scored, then he can call exclusion. This prevents a situation that we see sometimes when referee is calling a foul and goal is scored and has to be disallowed. And the second stage is mentioned here. It requires much more testing, and in the second stage we propose to apply it to whole field, but we would prefer to start with a more simple application of this rule, only in 2 specific situations.
Discussion open. Experts, please.
There are a lot of situations, that they, cancel the goal in the normal, correct way that somebody scored the goal, but somebody disturbed him, not distant from him. So he scored the goal, there is no goal, this player is excluded with the extra man, they didn't score the goal anymore. So what is correct in the game? It's correct that this is the goal. And then if he make the exclusion foul, he will go out. So I think it's a very good proposal. So naturally, it must be detailed how to do everything. But excellent proposal.
Thank you. Referees, please.
I can understand the meaning of this proposal. I agree with the mentality of proposal, but we must be very careful. We must put the rule which will be clear. Otherwise, you will create again one rule to put on the shoulder of the referee his opinion when to wait, how long to wait, how to signal that he is waiting, what it means to wait all over the field, or to wait only where is possibility for goal, etc., etc., etc. So I don't want to create another opportunity for confusion with our rules. We must be very precisely and clear when, how long a referee can wait for delaying the exclusion, or which I wrote penalty and exclusion. Because till now, the mentality was that the penalty is the biggest advantage. When there is opportunity to score a goal and the player do everything what he can in the shoulder with 100 kilos, we give the penalty. You must give the penalty to reward a good action. What it means to delay with the penalty, and how long to delay. What if the ball rebounds and he put the second ball? Okay.
Just briefly, and you need TWC replied on you, or you want to advise something? Precisely, okay, Lolo, please.
No, I understand your words, Margita, I understand well. The delay must be understood when the player has possibilities to finish the action. This is the question. We have many situations that is penalty in that moment, with exclusion in the center, but the player has yet the possibility to finish the action. Our objective, general objective, is that we must finish the action, not finish with a penalty or with a exclusion. But Boris, what the remarks of Boris has objective reason about he meet the referee in a situation more complicated. You must understand them, more complicated. Must decide when decides to stop the delay, because the delay doesn't mean that you delay all the time. No, you must stop the delay when the player is impossible to continue the action. This is the spirit of the game. Clearly, we must test and to evaluate very well the words of Boris.
Oh, okay, coaches. Ex-priest, Radko.
So this is not a new rules. So the good referees today, they know situation, and when they see the goal situation, they leave playing, and if he didn't score the goal, they make the decision. So they're waiting. It's not the waiting, it's in the spirit of the game. So this is something honest, and you prize for the quality of the player. So today is the same things, but now only you will suggest with the rules, but it exists now.
Danish.
Absolutely, I agree with Radko. Wanted to say the same, that this is the rule of the advantage, and we had it. We always had it. Maybe something different, that you have the chance to score maybe from 6 meter long distance shot, and the other spot of the game, there is something. Then I have to be clever as a referee and wait the shot, and if it's not goal, then I can make an exclusion.
Just Boris,
I wanted
you
to
have your remarks
say-
already. Please, Chris.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I agree with both, actually, Radko and Boris. This is advantage is tricky, and it's really tricky for spectators. In ice hockey, what they do is, when a situation of advantage occurs, the referee raises the hand, allows the action to continue, to be finished or not finished, and then an ejection takes place if a goal isn't scored. I'd love to see the hand up by the referee to indicate that it's a period of advantage, so that there's no misunderstanding by the spectators.
Clear signalization. Okay, please, Gianni.
If I see, we have just opened one discussion here, so that I repeat, when we have this rule that may change many things, we cannot forget that the public must understand what we are doing. And it's necessary not only to test, but to persist to test and to see which is the real reaction. Or we may generate more confusion than now.
Thank you, Gianni. Somebody?
I would just like to clarify a little bit, that this reminds me of basketball rule. So when in basketball, they have that three-point shot. In a moment of shooting, there is a foul, and if ball goes through the basket, it's a score. So this is pretty much the same principle. So it's really understandable for the audience, for the spectators. Makes it much more clear.
Athletes?
There's a couple of things that we've discussed about this. From the center forward, we're going to be certainly encouraging a little bit more of an action rather than just encouraging. It gives the center forward an ability to go for the shot and make a spectacular shot, as opposed to just fighting for the exclusion and accepting that and then moving forward. And the idea of having, it's almost like a free play. If it's for stage 2, it's almost as if a free play, because if it's in the backcourt and we see, like we mentioned, maybe the ref with their hand up, then the players going on counterattack get a chance to try whatever they want, and the only effect would be that they possibly score, because they know that they'll get the ball back. And that can be extremely exciting, in my opinion. I would love to play in a situation like that. It's a no consequence play.
You support, Aaron.
Yeah.
Conclude. You support or support? Just
We like it.
Yeah, very nice. Adam?
Yeah, I like it. I'm just wondering when we're going to drop the hand. I think the hand is great, but again, to Boris's point, how long do we go? How long does the hand stay up? How long is that free play happening? These are details we need to, but I do support.
Thank you. Somebody else? Please.
Thanks. I'm just looking at the proposed rule, and listening to the discussion, there is much to be discussed. And if the rule is just going to be delayed exclusion or penalty in foul testing, we need to listen to what the advocate from, I think he's from Canada, said yesterday, as to exactly how these rules are going to be worded. Besides the testing phase. Once you've done the testing phase, you understand what you want in the rule. It's going to be so difficult to make sure that that rule is correctly captured and understood by everybody. So I'm saying supported for the testing.
Thank you. It's okay. Mr. Lolo, please.
It's clear that we must test and to evaluate the inconvenience that some people say, some experts, the referees, and Gianni has said, no? We must evaluate well, to test and evaluate well what is the limits of the timing that you give, and what is the problems that can happen with this situation.
Very good, Lolo. Thank you. Okay, next rule.
Proposal number 5, limited time allowed for center forward to be in front of a goal. Expected effects, avoidance of a static game and sole focus on passing the ball to the center forward, encouragement of movement of play, decrease in interpretations by officials, exclusion of majority of hard fouls without the ball.
It's clear? Discussion, please. Experts?
Yes, I think this is the most important rule that we are discussing today, because we are saying that the center forward cannot stay in front of the goal. It's a big change in the rules. We can do this like Haba Waba does with 5 seconds, like basketball, 3 seconds in basketball. Or we can say the center or the player entering in front of the goal must cannot stop and must keep moving, only stop to receive the ball. There's different ways to do this. It's not clear how we are going to do this. This is just an idea, I think, right now, but we don't know the way it's going to be done.
Thank you. It's okay? Radko, please.
Okay, when I was a player, we tested this rule and Gianni was present, so it was the very history, you know, long history. 84. And what's happened, the players, you know, they likes to be very intelligent, and so you can have a different situation. One of the situations, we don't know how much is the limit, yeah? 3 seconds, 2, 4, we don't know. But what can happen, that one player is swimming always on one side of the post to the other side of the post, one side or the other side. This is one situation. Another situation is that you have a 2 center forward that is out of the post 1, out of the post 2nd. In principle, I support proposal, but I think as this is some kind of the radical proposal to be tested, and then to see how you can implement it in the game. Because we had experience and we didn't decide at that moment, so you know, I would like to see how it's in the proposal.
Okay, Dennis, perform.
If we will use this rule, we will change completely after 197 years water polo. So we have to test it absolutely. Thank you for your help for 147 years.
Good, Dennis, thank you. Athletes? Sorry, Yanis was first, sorry.
So, of course, we are talking about a rule that could change the game radically. That happened in basketball around the 30s. Basketball had the same issue. They did not have the rule of 3 seconds, so they understood that the only way to eliminate players grabbing and playing, they changed the rule. I understand that it's not an easy thing to change this rule. We have done that with a grassroots event, so we have the experience. And the Hungarian teams were there, the team of Partizan, and you cannot imagine, Dante was there. It was a very nice game with the kids. Why? Because the kids, the first thing to learn is they need to move to receive the ball. Because if they stay, there's no game. So when they move to receive the ball, they don't stay like center because they need to go out to receive the ball. A dream, because you said yesterday I have a dream, is when we arrive to play like the Hungarians. They grew up, and Dennis, of course, and before of him, with a famous Victoria game. There was one rule only. To score, you need to receive the ball dry. Only with this rule, if inside 5 meters, we allow players to move like the kids and receive the ball dry, but without pushing, we can create movement without 5 seconds or 3 seconds or whatever. Only one rule. Of course, that will not apply if I swim with the ball inside 5 meters. But if I am and I move and I receive the ball, like many center forwards, especially the smaller one, Slokovic was doing, Yorgos Afrodakis was doing, they were moving away and receiving the ball. And you remember it was a period of time that everybody was surprised and they were giving contra foul. But from the physics, we remember action and reaction. So I cannot move and you stay stand. If I move and you move in the other way, that is a contra foul. So now the referees don't wish we see.
Shortly, please, because time.
Okay, sorry. I said that it's a very interesting rule, very interesting. It's interesting to test in higher level, but I believe that it will be easier if we think some time to apply the rule of Victoria, the principle of Victoria game.
Thank you. Lolo, you? Athletes? Gianni?
Thank you, Radko, to remember that the first time was 84. We wanted to create a new rules and a new name, Waterpolo No Stop. The center had the opportunity to arrive, to play one ball, no more than, and to move from the center. You had another idea, to enter in the center where the ball was just in. So that, dear friends, we are changing Waterpolo here today. No, tell me, what do you want? Because if the people don't understand today, tomorrow will be more difficult.
Thank you, Gianni. Lolo? Somebody else? Please, Peter.
I think it is necessary to taste. This rule will be very interesting because sometimes we have one bad picture because some players stay, wait the ball, don't move, have it. If we want to simulate moving, try to test.
Thank you. Please, Egypt.
Yeah, I see this is one of the most important points from the 20 points. It will make the game a lot faster, and I really support it 100% from Africa, yeah.
Thank you. Somebody else? Mr. Lolo, please. Thank you.
It's clear that this is a rule that we need to test deeply, and to also to clarify some questions about to avoid the problems that Radko has said. No, we must to define better in which limits we propose, but it's not to repeat some difficulties. That what's clear is a long testing rule.
Okay, thank you. Lolo, next, please.
Proposal number 6.
Proposal number 6 is additional substitution re-entry area would be at any place in between the goal and the center field line on the team's half, flying substitution. The reason allows for quicker substitution, increases the opportunity to rest the player to enter without impact on the offensive, eliminates wasted offensive for a reason of making a substitution.
Okay, it's clear. Discussion. Experts, please.
Yes, we tried a rule similar to this in the 1960s. The substitution was in the center line. And it was very difficult to enforce because the player who is substituting, he gets in the way of the referee who is walking on the side of the pool. Does the player sit on the side of the pool? He touches the hand of the player who is coming out. It's really, I don't believe it's necessary because how many times in a game do you substitute in the corner? Most of the time you substitute after a goal, during timeout, during quarters, so you really don't need this rule.
Thank you. Dennis, please.
Okay, I think that we do not have so many substitution in the corner because you lose your attack. If we do it this way, it's okay. And if the substitute player swims, then there is no problem with the referee. But this is the problem is the wideness of the pool. So 25 meters is okay. 21 can be okay, but we play a lot of games in 20 meters. So we have to make the lines to create the space to swim, and we might play in a pool 20 meter per cross for 19 or 18 and a half because of this kind of substitution. But I'm sure if we do this way, we will have a lot.
Only one thing about this rule. Discuss first the rule like the proposal of the rule. After we have the problem of there are different sides of swimming. Perhaps this only is applied in the high level competition. So I think analyze first the rule. Analyze and after we will be how we apply, in which competitions we apply.
Adam, please.
Yeah, I think if comparing it to hockey, hockey, you can skate very fast, and the transition when you're subbing someone in is seamless. It just happens very, very quickly. When you're moving in the water, you move very slow. You don't move as fast, and you have to move away from the goal if you want to go outside to the lane line. So if you're making that decision, you're almost wasting an attack. And we've talked about, you know, trying to speed up the game. I think this actually slows down the game more than anything, because now you're swimming to the side, someone is swimming in. During that time, the defense has actually a man advantage for, and this takes time. It takes time. Again, it's not on ice. We're doing this in water.
Thank you, Adam. Dragan?
First thing I would like to clarify one thing that Dennis was talking about, or somebody else. What I understand the intention of this rule, which is missing details again, as all the others, is to get in a penalty box first, and then to swim on a side, you know, and you can enter anywhere in your half. But first entry is in the penalty box.
Register in the box.
Yes,
first.
that part, you know, of the referee interrupting, you know, players interrupting, you know, it's not there. I have to agree with Adam that part can slow down the game, but I don't see it will slow down the game more than it's slowed down right now when player goes in a corner. So it may not be speed enough, you know, like fast enough as we want to see, but it will be faster than player going all the way in the corner and going back, you know, in the field. Because right now what we have situations, you know, when coaches want to change the player, we are wasting whole offense. Sorry.
I agree with Dragan, and this is where all of these things are connected, and so we can't look at just one rule by itself. Going back to clarifying the rules, the reason why people are subbing in the corner during the game is because they're tired, because the game is too physical, because there's wrestling, there's way too much wrestling. And if we first go back even from the beginning, if we clean that part up, people are going to be moving much easily. They're not going to be fatiguing. I don't think you're going to see anyone that's subbing in the corner. I really don't. I think it's going to be a faster, quicker paced game. And so those situations are not going to be happening where you have your big center defender or whoever swimming over to the side and wasting a possession.
Thank you, Adam. Radko, please.
Okay, I agree with Dennis, and not to losing the attack before you have to go back and then to go is really, it's something ridiculous. So in the situation when we will play with 11 players at Olympic Games, I think this is one of the best solutions, you know, how to keep the players, you know, that playing on the high level. So I will support absolutely this, and then agree with the Lolo. Some technical explanation we need. We need how to do this. We need so, but in the principle, I am agree, and I think that it's good, especially for this Olympic tournament.
Very, very good. Thank you, Radko. Lolo, please.
No, it is necessary to clarify the procedure, how to make the procedure, but the idea of that is that now we have a situation that nobody like, especially the coaches, because lost attack, no? This is the intention, no more. Thank you.
Okay, in general, everybody agree, need to clarification, correct. Next, Mr. Lolo, please.
We pass another set, rules number 2. The objectives is improve the integrity of the game by decreasing opportunity for referee interpretation. Proposal number 7.
Clear referee signalization for direct shot after free throw awarded outside 5 meters. This rule is applied only in questionable situations around 5-meter line.
Okay. It's clear, discussion open, Mr. Danish, please.
Yeah, we have experience. We do it for 2 years in Hungary. So we sign to the player if he can shoot or not before he start to think it. That's too much important. Yes, we do it, and that's okay. We started 2 years ago.
Very good. Dante, briefly, please.
Yes, can you?
No, we also have a physical explanation also behind. Okay, please, Mark, explain again because it's not clear something.
In a situation where a fall occurs around the 5-meter area, and it's not clear for everybody, for public and for teams, is it inside or outside, referee signaling by signal only when it's outside. He's signaling or some kind of gesture. We didn't certain what kind of gesture yet, but he's signaling that it's okay to shoot. When the ball is inside, the fall is inside, there is no any signalization from referee.
It's clear now. Boris, briefly.
Yes, I'm short always, no problem. A referee have only 2 hands. If you want to signal advantage, delaying the exclusion, and after 4 pages will be showing the foul, and inside, outside 5 meter, just show me how you will signal all 3 things with 2 hands.
Very good remark, because the rules will improve the game, but will affect the referee. Serious?
Boris, 2 referees have 4 hands.
Yeah, it's correct. It's correct. Okay, somebody else, please. Adam?
Just to go off of that, I just think it's important, again, this is to my point earlier, all of these things are connected. So it's tough sometimes to just look at one rule. We have to, and it's good to have this discussion, but we have to, at the end of this, we have to go back and look at how all of these help or hurt each other.
Okay, somebody else, please.
Yeah,
Africa.
Yeah.
Mr. Zuhair.
Yeah, from the history, from our matches and our leagues in our country back there in Egypt and sure in Africa, this proposal will really prevent too many fights between teams and between referees. So we go for it. It's easier for us that he give the signal, then the player can shoot or not. So it prevents us from many things. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Borrell. About 4 hands.
Yes, only for Dennis. Dennis, which is the signal? The hand up. Okay.
Okay, Mr. Lolo.
No, only another question. It's important that the signal could be a moment finish because it indicates the player that he has shoot a finish. There are details that we must to consider.
Yes, okay, Lolo. Next, please.
Proposal number 8.
Timeout button is responsibility of a team. Assistant coach or coach.
Open discussion, please. Mark. Any remarks? Support?
It's support, but, you know, sometimes technology doesn't function. So, okay, together, sign and the button.
One coach show this, one button. It's also a solution.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Lolo, I think it's passed. It's clear.
Unique only one remark about this question about. I see the last years the coaches use the timeout when it only lacks 2-3 seconds to finish to avoid the counterattack. Sometimes there are confusion. It creates problems about this situation. Has created problems it happens in the Budapest one situation. I was delegate and I see Well, we have some problems about the coordination about the timing, no? It's only that for that, I think it's a good idea about the coaches, but it depends also the coaches agree or no. See, it's important that they must be coordinate very, very, very quickly, no? Or always the technology can fail with the assistant at the same time, no? It's good that the coaches signal at the same time. Eh?
Okay, coaches agree, as I understood. Okay, Lolo, next, please.
Proposal number 9.
A game video monitoring system will be employed to determine calls for brutality or any other offense involving violence or misconduct. Expected effect is this rule change is consistent with 21st century sport practices. It provides clarity and improves the integrity of the game, discourages violence, ensures the application of appropriate punishment.
Only one question about this to discuss. This is after the game.
The remark of Lolo, the video, I just clarified that it will be used after the game to define was for brutality cases. And also, you have to add, it will be punishment after that. Sanction, I mean.
Yeah, it's not going to affect any result of a game, but it's going to be affecting on punishment sanctions for a player.
The main idea is to stop brutality, or what? This idea. Okay, now it's clear. Please, discussion open. Experts, please.
Yeah, it's a good decision. It's according to our initial beginning of this that we want to avoid the violence, to avoid the brutality. It should be better to react immediately for me, but you know, if it's not taking too much time, it's better immediately, because these players must be punished immediately, not after the game. So my proposal, if it's possible and not wasting the time too much, to react immediately. And it's very good, and I support this.
Dragan?
I completely agree with Ratko, because if it's only after the game, we may get in a problem with the result, you know, in 4 minutes punishment and everything else. So I completely agree with Ratko that it should be done right away, as soon as possible, that video monitoring.
Wim?
Ratko, at the moment, the referees are in complete control of the game. If the referees miss it, unfortunately, which happens, we can't do anything. So then we have to punish afterwards. But at least he'll be punished afterwards. And I think with 2-3 examples of heavy punishment, and they know they will be caught on camera, that this will prevent for the future that there will be more violence. But to stop the game, who should stop the game? The delegate cannot do it. Yeah, because the referees, they should not interfere with the referees. They are in complete control. I know it should be the ideal situation, but until now...
Okay, it's clear. Please, Adam.
Okay.
Gentlemen, I just remind you, we have very time limits. Please, briefly, everybody is experts on the table. Everybody understand immediately what you mentioned. No need, just briefly, please, Adam.
Our experience that we had 2 cases in this championship this season, that we had the video from one team because of brutality. Then we have observed the other video of the other team. The cameras was 3 or 4 meters away each other and was different 2 times. So it's dangerous.
The message is be careful. Okay, Adam?
Yeah, I think obviously Wim, if they don't see it, there's nothing that can be done. I think the one situation we get into is if the official sees something and they're unclear whether it should be just a normal exclusion or brutality. And this is, we can relate it to our NBA basketball, where they take, You know, they go back and they see a foul and they see whether it was an intentional foul or a foul with any, I forget how they have the flagrant foul, and they go to the video and then they watch it from there. I think if we can implement that, and if there's some question by the referees, they see something and they're unclear of the severity of it, if we can do it, let's do it.
I agree with you.
Thank you, Adam.
I agree on that with you, but let's start implementing the use of the video equipment first, and then come later to it. We have to go step by step. We don't have that experience of challenge what they have already in other sports. So let's start with this and develop the implementation further on. But I agree with you. Maybe ultimately we should go that far.
Mr. Lolo?
No, I think the explanation of the WIM is our speech when we propose that first step, how we manage this situation, because and after it will be getting the second step, we will in another direction immediately, no? But I think it's a situation complicated. I think first, this is not una question about the rule. It's not in the rule. This is not. It's another question. This. I think it is necessary to apply, but begin first step after the game.
Thank you, Lolo. Okay, the next, please.
Rules. Set 3, the objectives is ensure athlete safety, maximize performance, improve the image of water polo by decreasing brutality. Amendment proposal 10.
Proposed rule is the use of audio equipment to be utilized by the game referees.
Any discussion about it? Danish, please.
4 years we use it, and excellent. Just we do not inform the public because the coaches, they don't understand or they don't agree with the referee, so we don't start to explain what happened, but three of them, referees and delegate, can talk each other.
Thank
4
you.
years we started. Special things we need because they whistle, and otherwise it's difficult. So, but it's a high cost, but good. Even junior games.
Thank you. I think, Mr. Cornell, please.
Can you explain what they are going to do with this equipment? How they are going to use it?
Lolo?
Me?
Lolo.
Because the rule says only that they are going to use the equipment. The question is, what use will have this equipment?
No, this equipment is used because there is a good communication between the two referees. Sometimes it's for time. It's a good communication for the two referees. But there are a lot of situations that they must to walk in the swimming pool. This is for that.
This is clear, but I understand you talk about the video.
No, about wireless communication.
It's wireless, it's okay, no problem. I think it was video.
Sure, the communication. No.
Jenny, you want to say?
If it's wireless, it's okay.
Jenny?
I agree to use this system, but attention, when you play high level, it's impossible to use because I give you many examples. You have one Chinese and one Russian or another one Italian say, what do you want? They cannot speak each other. Tell me, or you organize one system to transmit some information, or they cannot speak each other for any reason. Because this is the situation, friends. Maybe you know many languages, but in China they know only Chinese.
Mr. Lim?
Gianni, Mr. Lanzi, the intention is now, when we have the new referees education program, that we will start with the development school with basic water polo terminology in English. So maybe we do the development school in English in combination with another language, but during the course, we will demand from the referees that all speak in a basic terminology of English. So that's our strive. That's what we try to achieve.
Listen, I have many years, and I can tell you, I agree, because if you have two people speaking the same language, it's easy, and they can transmit. But if you start with the school and after you apply, I am just that.
Gianni, thank you very much. Message is clear. Referee which not understand language will not use it. Lolo, close it.
It's okay, it's clear, it's clear. The situation is clear. I'm sure that in all sports teams use this kind of devices, it's clear.
Okay, Lolo, please, next.
Proposal 11.
A personal foul called on a center forward instead of an exclusion when not in possession of a ball. I have to explain the situation. In many situations when the ball is not arrived on the center, referee will be allowed that instead of exclusion just to call a personal foul, which is a new group of fouls. And proposal for this is effects of this proposal would address the constant violence on the center forward position without a ball. So in one attack, theoretically, one defender can receive 2 or 3 personal fouls in one attack.
Okay, it's clear. Open discussion.
The writing should be the personal foul is called on the center defender. Because it's not called against the center. It's called against the defender, right? So the writing is not clear.
It's only about defender, of course. I'm sorry, it's a typo. It's an error in explanation. Of course, it's personal foul against defender in a central forward position.
Okay. Radko, please. Dante, switch off microphone, please.
Okay. This situation now I saw that they treat different in Europe and in the FINA. So I saw the Europe Cup that they scored the goal from the situation for the exclusion without the ball on the center, ball is arriving and they scored the goal. And in the FINA rules, it's not possible. So I think that this is in accordance with our philosophy to make the center less important. So now we have the statistic that quite half of the exclusion on the center is without the ball. So and this is not so goal situation. So now with this, we will permit these players with the personal foul to stay in the game. We can, as a coaches, we can combine all the players around, and so not to be especially defender, because everybody can do this. But then in some situation, you must have the 2-meter defender. So with the sum of the explanation and the testing, I think it's a very good proposal.
Thank you. Radko, Lolo, please. Some remarks? Okay, Lolo, please.
No, only to say that I think one of the, not the most important problem, because I think I agree that the most important problem is the quantity of the ordinary fouls. But this situation of the center without ball is one of the worst situations that we have in the image. Is terrible. The center with ball is okay, it's fantastic, the situation. But without ball, without any action, and any action, ordinary foul is not called, and increase the wrestling till exclusion. This is the situation. And as has said Radko, the half of the exclusion in the center is without ball. I don't know if the proposal is correct or not correct. I defend, but we have a problem.
Well,
Adam?
yeah, I think I agree with you though, but I think we've made it worse. We've made it worse by delaying the ball to come into the center, because now the defender knows he's not giving up. If he takes, he can be very physical, and if he takes an exclusion, the ball is not coming to the center right away, and so we're not giving up. So we've kind of created our own problem, and I'd almost go back. I think that I don't know. I'm not in support of this rule.
Okay, clear. Yanis?
Allow me to say something that I remember the time that we had consecutive fouls at the center and the ball was arriving. It was a period that the ball was arriving. Two things, one for the attack, one for the defense, I will say now. Players like Manel Estiarte, like Gianni De Magistris, like Tamas Farago, when the ball was inside, they were starting the movement and they were creating a driving game. Also, when the consecutive fouls were occurring, the coaches were doing the rotation to change the defense. So that is very spectacular. The only thing now, we have the term personal foul, we have ordinary foul, we have exclusion foul, and we come back to yesterday. It's better to put in the paper what is everything, what is foul, what is personal exclusion and things. Sorry to come back, but it's very important to remind.
Thank you, Yanis. Athletes, please, Aaron. Switch out microphones. No, Radko, your microphone on.
The fear that I have is the away from the ball foul is very confusing for the average spectator. So if somebody's faking in a possible zone situation or something like that, and the whistle blows, but there's no contact, and it's a minor foul, it can be confusing for somebody who's not watching the entire field of play.
Okay, thank you, Boris.
In this case, we have two different punishments for the same foul. We must first think. I'm looking from perspective of the referee. I'm not going, is it good or bad? But it will be confusing that we use for the same foul when the ball arrives is exclusion, but for the same jumping over the head without ball is personal foul. And still, the public will not understand, Aaron, because the decision will be, but instead of exclusion will be personal foul. So the referee will have to show something. So public will not understand anyway. It's not that now they will understand it better. I think it's dangerous, confusing, and I don't know, really. It must be explained better.
Yes, okay. The explanation needed more clear. Okay.
Yeah.
Please, Mr. Zubair.
Yeah, please. I agree if the backstanding is excluded, okay, and the center forward don't receive the ball, I agree 100% with what you're saying. That slows back the game. It's not, we're not speeding up the game, it's slowing back. So I think there's something in the middle line between both parties that we need to reach. We're not solid 100% of this point.
Okay, thank you. Discussion closed.
Only that it is necessary to test, because there are objections, but we must consider. But it is necessary to test clearly and evaluate well.
Okay.
Proposal.
You decide to pass it and to learn more, correct? Okay, next, please.
Which is the decision? May you...
On testing.
They will learn and test.
All right.
Proposal 12.
Where shall be 3 minutes interval in between the second and third periods. Effects. It will improve the image of Waterpolo. It would comply with IOC guidelines for exposure.
Okay, discussion open. Marco, please.
what do you mean regarding the exposure? Because if you remember well, why the 5 minutes was included, it was exactly to create a certain moment which we can use, show, and promote in different way.
The proposal, what is the proposal? Clear, say, please, clear.
3 minutes between.
3 minutes long break, that's it. Any opinions?
Is this proposal the purpose to make the game shorter for television? Because if we go to only 2 timeouts, we take 2 minutes off here, we can save 5 minutes. So is this the purpose of this, to make it more suitable for television, to fit in the, like Mr. Diamond said, the 1 hour format instead of 1 hour and 5 minutes or 1 hour and 7 minutes?
Okay, thank you, Dante. Vula, please.
Athletes, we think that we can stay with 5 minutes. We are not negative for the 3 minutes, but I agree with Marco Biri that if we want to have a kind of a show that we can create according of the speakings of the experts of marketing, we should stay in 5 minutes. But we can we can test also 3 minutes to see how it works.
Thank you, Vula. Wim, please.
Marco, I have a question. Many years we are now with 5 minutes. How much show do you see in the 5 minutes? A realistic question and not personal, because...
Yeah, okay, so we discussed this today how to improve and to find a way to do that. If we never insist, why we discuss? As today we discussed that we want to improve how to do. Exactly, this is the moment which also TV can have advertising moment. I would say, it's no question, if we didn't see many things, but this is not the reason why, okay, we cut. We should work on it, otherwise nonsense what we presented.
Okay. Alessandro, we understood there's a big supporter behind Marco. It's good the team work, but please be patient. Let people work, please. Dante.
Okay, first of all, after the presentation of Mr. Diamond, I asked him why 1 hour. So if he will offer to handball to be 1 hour, or if he offer to volleyball to be 1 hour. So, and then I said that our game, and we have request that the game is longer. And we have, in these 5 minutes, we have many things that happen. So when we are organized very well, it's happened. So this Mr. Diamond said, no, it's not the question that we have to be limited on 1 hour. No. So we can be 1 hour and a half. So if we want to give the spectator, so maybe 5 minutes is better. And then another thing. If we are playing with 11 players of the Olympic Games, I think then, in this case, 5 minutes is better. I was agree for the 3 minutes, but for the Olympic Games and for the other things that to leave 5 minutes and then to talk with Mr. Diamond.
Thank you. Danish, please.
I think that 1 hour can be interesting if we show only the game, but normally we have an pre-interview of the coaches or players before the game, after the game, so we can 1 hour and 5 minutes, 1 hour and 10, and with the interviews 1 hour and a half, which is expert for the television.
Thank you. No more? Please close discussion. Lolo?
Okay.
Okay, mostly negative, then positive, correct? Next, please, Lolo.
Mr. Cook.
Proposal 13.
Sorry.
Yes, Gianni.
But you know why we have this speech on the table or not? Because during the Olympics, during the World Championship, we have a big competition with the watch. And many times we are running because we don't have time to prepare the next match. When the game became 1 hour, 10 minutes, we don't have time for presentation and so on. And Mr. Marculescu had many times problem with television. We must understand what we want. If we reduce, it's because we don't have in our program, or we change the program, and you will propose also to change all the program, and maybe we can change also the ball at the last, or we must see which is the motivation, or we cannot discuss. We are speaking on the spirit of angles here.
Thank you. Very good remarks.
No, I agree with your reasoning, Gianni. It is possible that this rule must study a lot with the another departments of the FINA, because I think the consequences of the schedule of the program, we must consider more this proposal. Proposal number 13.
Each team shall consist of maximum of 13 players plus 2 substitutes for FINA World League and FINA World Cup competitions. The roster of 13 players can be changed for each game, except in the Olympic year.
Discussion open.
One question. Be short, because we don't have time. We exhausted the time. Be short, please.
Agree.
So I agree with this, but I will use this kind of using the players also during the Olympic Games. So what Mr. Marculescu was talking, how we will use these 2 players that outside of the village. So maybe it will be very good to use this on the same way that we are using on the World League and so on and so on. So for the technical reason, not for the medical reason. So only this. For everything is okay.
Okay, Mr. Dench.
My opinion that Olympic year is even more important to use 2 more players, because the preparation of the Olympics will be with maybe World League super final. So you don't know yet which team you go to the Olympics. So 2 more players, more important. We had Malaga Europeans with 13 players. It was very difficult before Beijing Olympics. We couldn't pick the team at the end of the Europeans because we had to go with 13 players to the Europeans. So I think that even in the Olympic year, plus 2 players.
Thank you. Gianni, please.
I agree, but I am agree for many reasons. Attention, first of all, in 15 days of our competition, Olympics or World Championship, cannot be that 1 player is sick and the 1 team must be presented with the 12 before the game. This is incorrect. They must receive the right number, 13 and 13 always, not that they have 1 player that is sick and that they start with the 12. We must increase the number. We must give the opportunity each time to present the right number for the game.
Thank you, Gianni. Dragan?
Just short. I'm in complete support of this. You know, I'm just wondering why it wasn't changed earlier. Thank you.
Thank you. It's positive. Done. Okay. Lolo, next, please.
Sorry. Proposal 14.
The use of automatic visual effects surrounding the penalty box, signaling the last 5 seconds of expiration of exclusion time. B, the time when the excluded player is allowed to come back into a game. It's just to substitute, to replace the flags that we have now. The secretary is using the flags now, to replace it with some kind of visual effects or lighting from a table.
Open discussion, please. Radko?
So I agree, and I propose that we use this lighting system that we used during the Olympic Games in the London. So you will have five seconds there is on the re-entry area. But I don't know who proposed here, when somebody scored the goal that the net will blinking, so you can put this in the proposal. So it's very nice and very effective and doesn't cost a little bit, but it's not. So agree.
Very good. Vulia, please.
We love technology, so we agree.
Very good. Thank you. In general, positive. Okay. Mr. Lolo, next, please. But I think number 15.
16.
16.
16.
15?
No, 15 no. 16. Now 16. 16.
No, 15 is out. Number 6 is scratched.
Calm, be calm. 16, please. Be calm. No. Now proposal 16.
Radko, please switch off microphone. Please also.
What about 15?
Mrs. Zahar, your microphone, please. Okay.
It shall be ordinary foul to commit any of the following offenses. Waterpolo 20.2, Waterpolo 20.17, which shall be punished by awarding of a free throw to the opposing team. Oops, I'm sorry. It's existing rule, sorry. The proposed rule. It shall be personal foul to commit any of the following offenses, except for, okay, this is basically to replace ordinary foul with a major foul.
Okay, discussion open.
This is completely unnecessary. We have a saying, the punishment must fit the crime. The crime is minor. If you touch the ball with two hands, you receive a personal foul. And yes, no? Yes. 20.8. 20.8, touch the ball with two hands, it's personal foul. If you simulate a foul, you receive a personal foul. Well, yeah, simulate, it's okay, but two hands and stand on the bottom of the pool in a shallow pool, but doesn't happen. But if you push off the goalpost, it's personal foul. So you only have 3 personal fouls when you leave the game. So if you touch the ball with two hands, now you have 1 personal foul. You make the foul on the center, and now 2, and then you get another 3, you're out of the game. I think these fouls are too minor to award a personal foul.
Okay, clear. Next, please. Boris?
I agree with the gentleman 100%. It's not possible 2 hands with exclusion foul.
Thank you. Very good. Somebody else? Aaron, please.
When was the last time at World Championships you called 2 hands on the ball?
Yeah.
Junior? Okay.
It's clear. Dragan, please.
I think the intention is to stop the whistling, and this could be excluded, 2 hands and pushing off the goal post, So I think the intention of, except for 20.2, 20.6, 20.7, 20.10, 20.12, and so on, showing, the intention to exclude all of those. So it could have been a mistake, but intention is to stop whistling.
Okay. Radko, please. Boris.
Okay.
No, wait.
Boris, don't talk twice, eh?
Yes. You talk all the days, right?
And so I'm actually agree with this. And my idea is to exclude completely ordinary fouls. So we can have ordinary foul for 2 hands or for pushing of the post. So, but all of these impeding that we don't know what is. So when we will make the proposal new and new book with all explanation of the contacts and of the ordinary foul of the impeding now. So I am that or to be ordinary foul, and then to put also the counter foul that is not in the book. So when you push, this is ordinary foul. So I am agree. If our intention is to have a less whistling, to have a more movement, so we must be a little bit more, to take with more liberty. We must don't be so conservative. So I am absolutely agree, but I want not to put the articles like this. I want the explanation. So you put me explanation, this is the order, this order. Explanation, this ordinary foul. So to follow, I'm not, I have no so good memory like Dante. He remembers everything. So we need a little bit more explanation, but in principle, I am agree with this.
Thank you, Mr. Chris.
Yeah, I'm with Radko on this one, especially for testing. I think, again, simplicity. I would be in favor of just doing away with the ordinary foul for testing, because I think it's just too confusing, and the reality is everyone will adjust. I mean, nobody is going to go after the ball with two hands if they know it's an ejectional under those circumstances, and it'll clean it up for the spectators.
Okay, thank you, Chris. Gianni?
Ratko, can be that we give ordinary foul only when they lose the ball. We have many ordinary foul, actually. And
don't discuss between us. Explain your reason. Gianni, explain your reason, not discuss.
I think that we can give ordinary foul, not always as a now. We have many situations that don't request an ordinary foul. We can give when who is in possession loses the ball.
Thank you, Gianni. Okay. Sergio.
Also we have some mistake, because in this case, the point 20, point 11 at whistle, personal foul to take a penalty throw. In this case, with exclusion, some player who in attack. I suppose this is a mistake.
Okay. Gianni, Lolo.
Thanks, Chair. I thought at the beginning we indicated that we need change. We've already indicated there's too many whistles in this game and it's confusing. So if the intention is to make the game more simplistic and get more flow in the game, then this is supported, Chair. Subject to that, it must be defined.
Okay, thank you. Lolo, please.
I think the conclusion is the intention of this proposal has explained very well by Radko. The intention of this proposal is diminish totally the number of the ordinary fouls that we have. Many people, me also, think that one of the most important problems that we have is the number of the stops. The number of the stops is caused by ordinary fouls. We must eliminate, there is only one thing to eliminate, to punish. There is only one thing. This is the intention. If the rule, the proposal is bad written, we must to rewrite, see the contradictions, and a little clarify the proposal. But the intention is clear. The intention is clear. It's disappear. The intention no is to whistle personal fouls. The intention is to eliminate the number of the ordinary fouls that is not necessary, including from the technical point of view, the tactical point of view, is not necessary.
Okay, thank you, Lolo. I think you need more clarification this subject, and please next.
Proposal 17.
A penalty throw shall be taken by any player of a team to which it is awarded from any point of an opponent's 6-meter line to allow lateral movement, fake, and putting the ball on the water. Goalkeeper is allowed to move out of a goal line up to 2 meters.
Open discussion. Remarks, experts? Radko? Mark, microphone.
No, but Lolo was. Actually, it was my proposal. So when we were talking about to move the line of the 5 meter to the 6, so to shoot the penalty from the 6 meter, then you can fake, you can move laterally, goalkeeper can go out of the until 2 meter, and then we have to choose and to test, it will be 3 seconds, 4 seconds, on how much he can do. And I think it's a very spectacular, and it's good for television. It's you can see on the handball, it's very nice, it's maybe one of the best things during the game. So why don't try in the water polo if we will have the line on the 6 and not to have the line on the 5 and or the 4 or 3. But I think this is a very, very attractive for everybody, for spectators, for television, for everybody. So we have to test. So I think it's very good.
Thank you, Radko. Thank you. Somebody else? Aaron, please.
We certainly agree with what Ratko says. The one fear that I have is putting the ball in the water and still being able to do something. I'm interested to see it testing, but we totally agree with it. There's going to have to be some sort of signal that says, okay, your time is up, but we can work on that through testing.
To simplify, I think if we have the sign for 2 meters, and then we have the sign for 6 meters, and that's it. Not 2 and 5 and 6. It's complicated for everybody. So if 6 from 5, then 6, and that's it.
Denis, thank you. Dragan?
I agree with Denis about that, but I also think that penalty shot should be the hardest punishment in our sport. It's hardest punishment in any sport. So now we're moving our hardest punishment to be the same level as a free throw shot. That doesn't make sense to me from that point. From visual effects, yes, I completely agree.
Thank you, Dragan. Somebody else, please.
Yeah, I agree with Ratko, and I go for the 6 meters and 5 meters, and for the faking and putting. I think it will make more players with more skills, and it will attract viewers to have a look instead of the one shoot. The fast shoot. No, if they threaten and this will make more skills and people can more.
Thank you. Message clear. Somebody else, please.
Thank you. I know you said Africa should speak with one voice, but yesterday I had given a question, and it was for this very specific reason, which I suggested that in this situation, look at awarding maybe 2 points for this position from the 6 meter. But I also understand that you said you'll have tested it, but maybe for a later stage to come back to this, or possibly testing it now. It's more exciting.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Lowe, please.
It is necessary to test, only to remember that the penalty must have the efficiency of 95%. We must test.
Okay, thank you.
One more. I would like to ask
Dante,
Adam.
Excuse me, Dante, please. Before you push button, you have to request, because the people otherwise confused, okay?
Yeah. I would like to ask Adam, this is for the women. 6 meters is harder, easier, the same with the small ball? Yeah.
Thank you. Mr. Lolo, next please.
Yeah, I think...
Oh, no, sorry.
Adam, okay.
Yeah, I think 6 meters is difficult. I mean, we're talking about the reason why you call a penalty is because you're saying basically that the offensive player had a very good chance to score, and I think moving it back to 6 meters, now giving them time to fake, some would say that gives them a better opportunity to score, but with the goalie coming out to decrease the angle, I think this is going to make it more. I believe our percentages are going to go down.
Danish, please. Thank you, Adam.
As 6 meter is more difficult, but the shooter can fake. If we stop the goalie on the goal line, I think that the percentage will remain the same as before.
Thank you. Okay, discussion closed. Lolo.
Okay, absolutely, it's necessary to test. Proposal 19. Sorry, proposal 18.
A goal may be scored by A, immediate shot from a free throw, awarded outside of 6 meter, or B, after fake or dribbling or putting the ball on water.
Discussion open. Experts.
It's the excellent proposal. So only that we need to add here, you know, that any case, if he's not shooting immediately, he has to do immediately free throw, and then can see so on and so on. So only this, but everything is okay.
Okay. Danish, please. Radko, microphone. Radko.
Do you mean that I'm free from 7 meter and then I execute it at the moment and then I swim to 3 and I score? That's goal?
Lola, question to you.
Yes.
Because this is completely changing everything.
Okay, somebody else? Ula?
I totally agree, and it's a very good idea. And if we are going to put the penalty line at 6 meter, it will be very good to have one line, like we said before, than to have 2, 5, and 6 meter.
Thank you, Ula. Somebody else? Okay.
I'm just curious, how often is this going to come into play if we're essentially eliminating most ordinary fouls?
Question to Lolo. Okay. Lolo, next. This one is okay, correct? Next. 19.
Proposal 19.
Goalkeeper is allowed to move beyond and touch a ball past the half-distance line. So basically, goalkeeper can go and be attacker at any time in the game.
Okay, discussion open. Please. Experts. Coaches. Opinions. Agree?
I agree. I completely agree with this one.
Goalkeepers agree?
Yeah.
The players?
It's our dream, you know, to score the goal. So of course.
Okay, bravo.
Can I call a timeout and put a field player in the goal at the end of the game and have him come out and shoot from half? Can I substitute a field player for a goalkeeper? No, you can't. Okay.
TWC reply?
Dante, no.
No.
No, can be only goalkeeper, no substitution. We still have to have 6 players and goalkeeper.
Okay. Discussion closed. Goalkeeper's happy, I think. Next, please.
Proposal number 20. Mark. Proposal number 20.
Once a team has possession of a ball, it has 10-15 seconds for a ball to cross the half-distance line. And B, after goal has passed the half-distance line, the ball is no longer allowed to pass back over the half-distance line.
Open discussion. Experts. Coaches? Athletes? Okay, Dragan, please.
This is a simulation of basketball rule, and the research is that it speed up the game quite a bit. I agree.
Adam, please. Adam?
Yeah, I disagree. I do agree with Dragan. We speed up the game. I think anytime we can be similar to one of the most popular sports in the world, I think that makes it easier to understand.
Thank you, Adam. Somebody else, please. Please, Africa.
No, we agree. It's totally gonna speed up the game. Yeah, we agree on. Yeah.
Very good. Thank you. Somebody else. Closed. Lolo. Next, please.
Everybody's agree, except me. Okay, agree. 21.
Each team may request 2 timeouts during a game at any time.
Discussion open. Marco, please.
Okay, yes. No, I'm not convinced about that because back into the discussion regarding TV, the timeout is also a moment in which you can see easily player, coach, people are interested, you can even listen. There are a lot of requests to listen what the coach say. And then reducing this, we reduce another possibility to promote also the athlete in the moment. You see the face, you see, there are particular moments which I really be careful to change.
Okay, thank you, Marco. Somebody else? Radko, please.
Yeah, I was again from the beginning with this. So I would like to have this mistake that Dragan showed yesterday on the presentation, so that we have 3 timeouts, the 2 normal timeouts, 1 minute and 1 30 second, and that we can use 2 timeouts in one quarter. So we will lose at least 1 minute for both teams, but we will get so much help to the referees, to the coaches, and to the television, and so we have experience about timeouts. That is one of the most important moment of the game. The television, take this game. We have our European, Udovicic was protesting again the filming timeout because he thinks it's some spy talking to the other team, what he explaining. So it's a dramatic moment. So I will keep at least 30 seconds.
Thank you, Radko. Any other? Coaches? Adam?
Yeah, I agree with those gentlemen. I think I was quoted as saying there's too many timeouts, and I want to be specific. I don't like the 1 timeout per period, because what ends up happening is you call a timeout with 2 or 3 seconds left just to get in front of the goal and invite a scrum, which no one wants to see.
Okay. Somebody else? You want? Danish, please.
I never coached with timeout per period. When I coached, it was 2 per game, and I think was enough. We can make the halfway for Marco. So I think 3 during the game, anytime, and not more than 2 in the last quarter.
Okay. Somebody else? Danish, microphone, please. Oh, okay. Dragan?
I do agree with Marco and Radko, but I also think that we should consider what Gianni was saying about the schedule, and everything else, that should be considered for making this decision.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
You want to speak?
No,
please?
We agree.
Please?
I totally agree on the proposal here, and with the 2 timeouts for the whole game. Yeah, that's fine.
Very good. Thank you. Okay, closed. Lolo, please.
Only that we must take attention on some requirements, external requirements, like Gianni Lonsi said about the program, the schedule, and other things. I think we must consider this question and consider that your proposals And it is a question that we must to think more.
Okay, thank you. Proposals is finished. As I see, the list is over. We are delayed in serious, but this is the first time when we try to use this procedure, and I like to thanks to everyone on this table, to thanks everyone in this room for your patience and do you give us chance and to be part of all of you during discussion. Thank you very much. And I apologize if it was something wrong in your opinion, but we try first time. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Excellent. Good job.